Всем привет! Today I would like to tell you about the region of Russia in the middle of Europe, which is called Kaliningrad region, or Kaliningradskaya Oblast, as we call it in Russia. This region won the competition I posted, so it took the biggest amount of votes, so we start from this region. Let me show you where it's located first. I hope it will be visible for you. So it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to find it on the globe, so it is here. I also printed the map like this. It's located between Lithuania and Poland. Lithuania and Poland. And before the Second World War, before the end of the Second World War, it used to be a Germany, and the Kaliningrad, the capital of this region, was called Königsberg. But after the end of this Second World War, it was like Soviet Union territory, and after the ending of the Soviet Union, Russia wanted to leave this piece of territory to have an access to Baltic Sea, I guess. That's why we have this region in the middle of Europe. Despite its most European region of Russia, just in the middle of Euro Union, it's never been very prestigious or something. That's very strange for me. Now it's becoming, because because of the sanctions, Europe is closed for 99% of Russians and all the Western countries. Kaliningrad is becoming the best option to go to the sea and have the best quality of the rest or something. So I think soon it's gonna be very posh and luxurious, but before pandemic, before this situation with Ukraine, it never been very trendy or popular or very cool in Russia, but still I visited it twice, and I'd like to tell you about my impressions. And I think this video is gonna be really long because I visited many different towns, and I want to tell about all this in one video, because I don't want to make many short videos about each small town. So I'd better to tell about everything at once. And if you feel that that's too much for you, because there will be lots of photos, lots of video, I think lots of information, you can just split this video and watch it in several parts. That's, I think that will be easier for you than for me to make many of these videos. So let's begin. First of all, I've been there twice, as I told you. The first time was during the pandemic, when it was impossible to go abroad normally, or it was possible, but it was very expensive. And the second time was when sanctions started, and also it was impossible to go somewhere, and still impossible, and that's why we visited it the second time. How to get there from the rest of Russia? It's possible to get there by plane, by train, and before it was possible to get there by car if you had visa of European countries to came across these countries. You could do this. And I think if you had some special technical passport for your car, but I'm not really into it, so it was possible and people did it a lot. Now it's not possible to do this by car. You can go there by train, but you are not able to go out of this train. Even while it's standing on stations, you can't get out on the station because it will be in Euro Union countries, and if you don't have permission, and in 99% of cases you don't have this permission, you don't have visa now, it's forbidden. But it's possible to get by train, but usually people just go there by plane, so take a flight. The biggest city in this region, it's of course Kaliningrad, the capital. It is named Kaliningrad because of, it's named after some Soviet politician. It's his last name, Kalinin, and Grad, that's ancient Russian word city. In modern Russian we say город, but in naming of cities we use word grad, I think, because it's shorter and it's easier to pronounce. That's why we say Kaliningrad, not like Kaliningorod. The thing is that the first time I was in Kaliningrad, but the second time I tried to avoid Kaliningrad because it's not actually nearby the sea. Here it's shown like the sea is somewhere here, but actually no, Kaliningrad is in about 40 kilometers from the sea, so it's not sea coast city, and all the resorts, all the sea resorts, they are here, and that's why the second time I decided to avoid Kaliningrad and only just not to waste time on this city because I've already seen it, and I decided to visit this coastline. But I will tell you about Kaliningrad too, just in the end, and the photos will be a bit older than the rest. I mean, older, like 1-2 years older. So maybe something is, maybe that's important for someone, I don't know, so I just specify. So the airport is located, I think, somewhere here, I guess, here. So we took flight and we came to the airport, and we lived, that was 3 years ago. We decided to live in the town. It's called Pionersky. It's located here. It's so small that it doesn't even show on the map, but it is here between Svetlogorsk and Zelenogradsk. Pionersky, it's like pioneer town or pioneer town, and I don't know if you have this word in English, pioneer. So in Russia, a pioneer, it's a school, a pupil who like in the Soviet system, like Lenin, does all this social work, social pupils work, who tries to be a good student, good part of this community, of the socialism of the society, social society, and all that stuff. So not everyone was pioneer. You needed to get there in this community, but almost everyone was there because it was like prestigious, and if you were not pioneer, you were like isolated or something was wrong with you. It was, so you were like not really well in this society. And so Pionersky, it's like the town of pioneers, pioneer town. So we got there, we lived in a flat. The flat was quite nice. After Severodvinsk, it was really nice because, of course, this place is much more touristic. All this Kaliningrad region is much more touristic than Severodvinsk. Severodvinsk actually is not touristic at all. So it was a special flat for tourists with a good renovation, in a new block of flats. The town itself was very pleasant. Very small, and all based on tourism. I think it was the late summer, so it was the very end of August and very beginning of September, and I think that in the winter period the town just dies out, because even in the beginning of September some cafes were already closed. For example, since the 1st of September they were just closed, and that's it. So we went there. The first day we spent there, and we walked to the beach. The day was quite hot and it was Sunday, so the beach was overcrowded. It was impossible. I understood that I'm not going to swim there because there were just lots of people, and that was crazy. And we just walked along the coastline and decided that that's enough for us. So we just watched the city. There were some shops. There was one cafeteria nearby, closest to us. It was called U Natali, which means by Natalia, and we had breakfast there several times, and we've been waiting for very long, for 40 minutes maybe, while they cooked as blins or pancakes or smashed eggs. So I don't know why was it so for so long, but it was the choice was not really big there because the city is quite small, but it's cheaper than the bigger and more popular touristic cities like Zelenogradsk or Svetlogorsk. They are the most popular, and of course they are more expensive. The first time I was in Kaliningrad and in Zelenogradsk, and the price was different. So the next day I wanted really to go to the place which also doesn't show on the map. It's somewhere here. It is named Donskoye. It is a tiny town which is military. It's just 5,000 people living there, and mostly they are family of military people because there was a military base there. But I saw in the internet that there is a very beautiful beach, a very beautiful cliff, and this place is not touristic, and that's why I wanted to go there. The weather was not really well. In the morning it was raining. We took a taxi there. I decided to go anyway because we had just 5 or 6 days there, so a bit less than a week. And of course I wanted to use every day because I had a plan like one day, one place. And we went to this Donskoye. Donskoye, I think that means there is a river, Don, and by the way, if I'm not mistaken, it's located not there. So yeah, it's definitely located not there. I don't know. So it's called Donskoye, I think, because of the river Don. And I can tell you that it was one of the best beaches I ever seen, the most beautiful beach of ever. And the second one, by the way, is in Kaliningrad region too, but I'll tell you later about this. So this beach was amazing. It was empty from people because of the weather, but also I think there are not so many people there too. Yes, it was Monday. It was rainy or cloudy, not really warm, but still it was absolutely empty, and it was really like in some beautiful videos or photos or somewhere else where travel bloggers come in 5 o'clock in the morning to have it without people, and we had it like that. It was amazing. But the thing is that we left our stuff on the beach and went swimming, and just in several minutes the water came to our stuff and flooded all our stuff, and I had my phone there in the backpack, and my phone died in the first day of our trip. And luckily my husband took his phone in his hands because he wanted to film, and I said, you will drown your phone there because there were huge waves. But actually, because he took his phone to the sea, he saved his phone, and at least we had just one phone during the whole trip because my phone was absolutely dead. So just in several minutes, the water drowned everything, all our stuff, and our shoes, they flew away, but we found them later. So that was a catastrophe, a little catastrophe. But if we lost both of our phones in the trip, that would be a catastrophe because we wouldn't be able even call the taxi. We needed to waste the time to buy some smartphone, to do something with our SIM card, to restore it somehow, to restore the accesses everywhere to all the apps. That would be terrible. So luckily we had at least one phone. And even despite this, I love this place, I think the most in Kaliningrad. It was wonderful. And my husband, he also drowned his glasses in the water because of the waves. The waves were strong, but I loved it. I love waves. But it's important to know how to interact with these waves, to do it normally, not to get drowned in these waves. So yeah, and then we also had a walk along this coast. It was so wonderful. We were all alone. Maybe we met just one person, maybe, and also we met a dog. And the dog was her paw was hurt. The dog was okay. I mean, she wasn't angry or something, and I felt very pity to it. And I started thinking what to do with this dog, and it seems like the dog fall down from this cliff to the beach somehow. Maybe it was from the military base, because military base was like up on this cliff. And we decided that we will walk to the end, and if we go back and the dog still will be there, we will do something. We will maybe take it. I don't know where would we take it, but still. And we went till the end. There was no end, but at one moment the beach was over and there started just stones. So you could jump the stones from one to another just to jump somewhere. I don't know where, actually. It was absolutely empty place. And I saw that the waves and the sea was so strong there. I saw, yes, it was really like a wild sea, because while we were walking along the coastline, waves always trying to crash me. And it was definitely not like the sea when you come to some hotel with all these, how to say it, sunbeds. And I understood that they hate this kind of beaches, and with this calm sea. So I don't like this. And this one was cool because the beach was wild, the sea was wild, and we found some stuff which was also stolen with the sea, like our stuff, like my husband's glasses. We found a boat, a broken boat with no people. It was strange, actually. I don't know if there were some people or not. And when we decided to go back, there was no dog, but there was a skeleton of the dog. We haven't seen this skeleton before, by the way. And I decided that maybe it was the ghost of the dog, but I don't know. I can't say that I believe in such kind of things, but it was very strange. And I was so hungry. We actually wanted to see the, how to call it, the lighthouse. It was sightsee of this town. It was written everywhere that there is a lighthouse, and we were trying to find it, and we didn't find it. So then we went up the cliff. There was some, I don't know, some ladder maybe, and we went to this military base, and the lighthouse was in the territory of the military base, so you couldn't get in. You just could stand in front of the fencing. There were these military guys standing there, and that's it. And somewhere there was a lighthouse, but we didn't know about this. And that was a bit disappointing, but actually the sea and the nature, they were much better than and all these things than any lighthouse. So I actually didn't care, but I was very hungry. I really wanted to eat. I wanted so much to eat something. And there was just one cafe. It was called U Oleshki, that means by Oleshka. It's like a name, a male name. And we went there, and I was ready to eat everything we had there. We came into, and there was like a buffet, and there was this woman with a strong makeup which look at you like you are a piece of shit. And yeah, and I came into and I said like, oh my god, I want everything, and she was like, what exactly? So, but still, we took everything, I think, and it all was tasty. It very cheap. I think this cafe was only some military people. They ate there, and there also were a couple of tourists who came there by bike from the Svetlogorsk, which is here, and they got here. I hope you can see it like that. And they wanted to see the lighthouse, and we said that you can't see it because it's on the military zone, and they were so disappointed, and they even couldn't go to the beach because there was very strong ladder for the very curved ladder to the beach from the cliff, and they couldn't do it with their bicycles, so they actually didn't see anything, just this military town, and that was very disappointing for them. They were upset. But after that, we went the second time to the beach, and I swam, and the second half of the day was very shiny and quite cool, and some people from the town came to the beach, but still it was very small amount of people, just several people maybe, and this was the best place of ever. I think the best place I've ever seen with the beach, so I loved it very much, even despite even despite I actually lost my phone there. I didn't lost it, but it was absolutely dead. The next day we went to Svetlogorsk, which is located here. It's like a middle of all this touristic coastline, and the city is the biggest on this coastline. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 10 or 13,000 people living there. And this city is quite posh, luxurious. There are lots of luxurious houses where actually usually lives people from St. Petersburg or Moscow. Not even live, they just have an rest there. And yeah, so there are lots of luxurious hotels, restaurants, and all this stuff. But I didn't really like this city because, I don't know, yeah, it was, you could walk there, but I don't like such kind of places. Because for me, they're like, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, they like have no face because they all made for tourists. They are just Porsche. And I didn't really like the beach because actually there was no beach. There was a cliff again and just really short line of the sand. The waves were also very big, and actually they were coming almost to this cliff, and we even couldn't put anywhere our stuff. So we just put it on the cliff, on some, like, how to say it, some piece of cliff, and we're hoping that they won't fall down. So I can't say that I really loved no, swimming is always good, but I mean that was not really cool. So something like this. And the city, I don't know, it was just okay, but I can't even say a lot about it. It just left me with almost no impressions, and that's very strange, but maybe I just love the different kind of places. I'm sorry, I have to use a lipstick because we have a central heating and it's quite strong, and that's why it's actually good that we have strong heating and it's quite cheap, but it dries very much the skin, the lips, the hair, so I feel that my lips are getting very dry. So now let's continue. The next day we went to the town, which is called Yantarny. That's a very popular town for swimming, for beach resort. Yantarny means amber because Kaliningrad Oblast is a place where people like get amber from the earth and they produce some jewelry with amber, so everything actually with amber, cosmetics, I think everything that's possible. I even saw marmalade with amber or jams with amber or everywhere, everything you can imagine. They have it with amber. And so in Russian, Yantarny is amber, and Yantarny, it's an adjective, so it's like an amber town. People say that there are the best beaches, but I am not agree. Because the best beach was in Donskoye and in the other place, which will be in the end of the video. The beaches were good, but I don't know, maybe we came in the wrong date because it was the 1st of September, so it's also the absolutely touristic town which dies out when the season is over, and it was over the 1st of September. So everything was closed. We wanted to eat in the cafe and we wanted to have several dishes. We found the cafe that which was open, and they said you need to buy a drink to every dish, and that was crazy. And we said, can we just buy several dishes and one drink? And they say no, it's the rule of our cafe. That's what's that? That's that's ridiculous. We found finally somewhere to eat, but that was really strange, and I remember it. That was a very strong impression for me because I was actually hungry. The beach was okay, but again, all the cafes, there were all the line of the cafes, some resorts, and they all were died out, and that made a bit sad impression, maybe because I don't know if the town is just shabby or I don't know, like I showed Svetlogorsk, I feel better with that when it's just abandoned or died out. That feels much more gloomy for me, and that's why maybe I didn't really like it. But I swam there, it was okay, but it was very low level of the water, and then very how to say it, very soon, just in one step, it became very deep. So that was not very comfortable. I prefer when it's more like, how to say it, not so different from each other and not so fast. So we spent there, I think, not even the whole day, but the half a day, and we didn't know what to do there else, because actually, yeah, it was just a beach there and this tiny town where everything was closed, and actually it was absolutely nothing to do there and even nowhere to walk. So we decided to go to Baltiysk. That's here. We planned to go there the next day, but we decided to take a taxi and go here to Baltiysk. Baltiysk is a port city, not touristic, also port and military. Something actually what I didn't tell you about the whole Kaliningrad region, that of course it's ex-Germany, and some buildings they left from Germany. They built in German style. Some buildings are renovated and they look well, but that's a rare thing, and usually they look again shabby or abandoned or not really well, and that's typical for all the Kaliningrad region. And usually they are proud of being so European, to have these pieces of German architecture, but naturally, usually it all looks quite sad. And in Baltiysk it was like that. There were lots of German buildings which looked quite poor, and the town was quite small, and you could feel this military vibes there. I don't know, I can't say there were not so many military people, or there were some buildings, but still, for example, there was an embankment, and on the one hand I really liked the piano music playing there, but also they announced in this loud speaking voice, they announced some things like don't be careful with your close people. They can sit in they can use Instagram, and they can get influence of foreign enemies or something like this, and that was not really cool. Also, there were lots of ships coming there. You could see the line of the ships coming. And yeah, so it was typical port military city, but I don't know, it felt to me quite sad. And I don't know why. I can't explain why. Maybe on the photos you will see why, but I can't really explain it. There was just some pushing atmosphere, and I don't know.
Электричка 3 вагона.
So we went back by train because it's quite difficult to get out of there. The town is very isolated, more isolated than the other ones. We got from Baltiysk to Kaliningrad because we could do it only like that. And actually there were just several trains, so we like had the last one. And then we took a train and got here to our town. And actually, the next day we were forced to get to Baltiysk again because I really want to visit this Baltic Spit. This Baltic Spit is halfly. It calls somewhere else. Vistula. I think it's in Poland. In Poland, it's called like that, but in Russia, it's called Baltic Spit. And the half is Polish, the half is Russian. And the Spit, it's very interesting because it's not touristic. It's touristic, but it's abandoned, absolutely abandoned. There is one village, 100 people live there, and there is no way to get there. I mean, by car, for example, there is no bridge. You can have a water taxi for 100 rubles. It was 100 rubles, so $1. They go there every time. They always stand there on an embankment, and you can go there. Also, there is like ship bus, water bus for people who live there. As far as I know, it's for free, but it goes not so often, not each 5 minutes, maybe each hour or half an hour. I don't remember. And the Spit is quite abandoned. There were 2 big bike rents because, of course, you can't be there by car, but you get a rent of the bike. It was not really expensive actually, and the bikes were in quite a good condition, I can say, and run everywhere by bikes. And there were lots of stuff which was abandoned. For example, German airport, some buildings, some, I don't know, just some buildings, some ruins, and everything looked sad. And it was very interesting. I really loved this place. The atmosphere was wonderful. The nature was wonderful. Everything was wonderful. But I felt very sad because I thought how this territory could be used, and it's just abandoned. Everything is abandoned and ruined, and no one cares about it. These things, they turn me into depression actually, because I start thinking why what the idea of such a big territory if it uses like that, if it's used like that, and it looks like that. I start thinking how it looks on the other side of the spit, and I think it looks different. I suppose it looks different, and that makes me feel very sad. So on the one hand, it was very interesting, but on the other hand, I felt upset, and I always feel upset while traveling in Russia and inside of Russia. And that's what I don't really like in these travelings, because I would love to feel like proud or happy, or of course sometimes many things I like, but usually it's nature or something. But I would love to be proud of how territory is cared, because our country is the richest country in the world, and it could be really well, it could be really nice, but it is like this, and that makes me feel like even a bit painful. I don't know. Yeah. So we spent there some time, and then again we went back to Baltiysk. Yeah, it's very close, so it's just 1 minute by this water taxi, so quite close. I don't know why they didn't make a bridge, but for some reason. And then again we took a train back to Kaliningrad, and then back here. And then that was our last day. Yeah, last day. So we took our stuff off from our flat, and we went to Zelenogradsk. It was the last place, and also the Curonian Spit. I've already visited these places before, that's why I left just 1 day for this, but actually it would be good to have 2 days, as I understood later. Zelenogradsk is, I think, the most nice city for me from all this coastline. It's very cozy, very pleasant, but still very touristic, absolutely touristic too. A bit crowded, maybe in season. And yeah, there are lots of hotels, lots of cafes, and they say that they're a town of cats, but I think everyone wants to be a town of cats because cats are nice. They have a lot of sculptures with cats. It's like their symbol. They have cats everywhere, drawn everywhere. They are walking everywhere. So yeah, they like cats very much. There is an embankment, very long. I don't remember the length, but it's quite long. It's the longest embankment in all the region. And then after Zelenogradsk, we wanted to go to this Curonian Spit, and this also half it's Russian and half it's Lithuanian, and in Russian it's called Kurskaya Kosa. So Kosa means spit, and Kurskaya it's like Curonian. And the problem of this spit is that you can go there by car, but it's a natural research, and you can't do it for free. So you need to pay firstly 100 rubles per car, so about $4. But also there was no normal car rent, and that's a big problem of traveling in Russia, because if you're not in Moscow or in St. Petersburg, it's quite difficult to find a normal rent a car, because we read the reviews and they are like terrible, because people write there that they take the car back and then they tell that they found some problems, that you like broke it or you like scratched it, and they don't give you back your money. I forgot this word. So the money you gave them as a. So okay, I'll write it down. And yeah, such kind of things. And of course, we didn't want to take a car. Maybe it would be okay, but actually, these reviews, they are quite scary. And there was no way to get there normally, because you can't get a taxi, because taxi is expensive and you need to pay 400 rubles for this taxi just to get inside. And that's how we made the first time. When I came there the first time and I didn't know about this, I thought we could just go there by taxi and that's it. No, you can, but and you can't call the taxi if you are there, because taxi is not going to pay for the entrance and take you there. You can also take a bus, but they are very rare and they are absolutely overcrowded. That's crazy. They're crazily overcrowded. And we were waiting for the bus maybe 40 minutes and it was late, very late, and I thought it won't even come. I mean, it was our way back. So there also you can take a driver. It costs $30. They usually stay on the Leningradsk station, and they say, I'll take you to the Curonian Spit for like $30 or $40, and like make you an excursion. Usually they tell you something while you are driving, and you can ask them to make a stops, and they can show you something or just wait you in the car. And we asked to just wait us in the car. And there are different places on this Curonian Spit. For example, some sand dunes. There was some bird sanctuary where the scientists from St. Petersburg, they come there and like make a research about birds, make some issues about birds, observing these birds, and yeah, all that stuff. So some other places. And there is something which is called dancing forest. So it's some kind of curved trees, and people don't know why they are curved like that. So yeah, and in the touristic places there are lots of tourists, and it's not very comfortable. But of course, you can go to the usual places because it's just a forest, and you can go to the beach line with the lagoon or with the sea, and you can choose actually where you want to swim. And the beaches they are the second best beaches I've seen. So the first one in Donskoye and the second one there, they were also absolutely empty. Of course, if you know the place without tourists, you just need to go a bit further from different. There are some small towns. They are going just like one by one, but they are very small. And of course, the further from the Zelenogradsk, the more empty the place, the beach. And we were absolutely alone there. And I wanted to swim very much because I've swam there the first time I visited this place, and that was magical. But the second time it was warm, but we were with our backpacks, with all our stuff. I was in the jacket, absolutely dressed, and I didn't want to do all these things, to overdress, and that's why we didn't swim, and that I was very upset with that. And actually, driver, he took us to different places, and then we said, okay, you cannot to get us back because we want to spend time on the beach. And despite we paid for this too, because it's the whole price. And actually, when he was driving us there, he did it so slowly, and he said, I can't do this faster because it's a resort, it's forbidden. But when we wanted to pay him, there was no internet because there are always problem with internet. And he started driving so fast back because he wanted to find the internet, and he actually didn't care about what he was saying, that I can't drive you faster. So I don't know. He just, I think, wanted to take more time just by the way, so to make it like faster and more not faster, longer and more significant, this trip. So yeah, not very pleasant. And the way back, yeah, we were waiting for a bus, super long, and then it was overcrowded, and it was crazy to be there. And it was super slowly, and each bus stop I thought that it's impossible to get more people inside, but they were getting and even more, because it was moving like closer to Zelenogradsk, and closer there were more and more people, and we were happy to get out of there finally. And that was our last day, and we like flew away. And now I'd like to tell you about the Kaliningrad, because it was my previous trip. There will be lots of photos and videos. I hope that they all will have enough time for all these photos and videos. And Kaliningrad, I don't really remember the amount of people. There may be 500,000, but I can be wrong. The city is, I can say that I didn't really like it, because I know that many people, they feel disappointed of Kaliningrad, because it's named like the most European city, because it's ex-Germany. And for example, my friend, she said that she was very disappointed when she came there, because she was expecting that it will be really like in Germany. And I think it's a bit naive to think like this, because it's Russia. Of course, there are some districts with German small houses, German architecture. Again, sometimes they are renovated, sometimes they are not. If they are renovated, these districts are very posh and luxurious and cool. And most of the city, it's actually with typical Soviet architecture or modern Russian architecture. And I can't say that it's really European city. It's just like a mosaic with different, how to say it, with mixture of these two cultures. And I didn't find it really beautiful or cozy. Again, maybe some districts are cozy, which are in this style, but the other districts, it's typical Russian city, typical Soviet block of flats, a bit shabby, and that's it. There are some two nice embankments. They were touristic. You can walk there and have a pleasant time. There is an island also. It's called Island of Immanuel Kant, and you can have a walk there. There is a cathedral, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, but you can actually walk through all these touristic places in a half of the day. Or maybe, okay, if you walk slowly with sitting in different cafes on the benches, okay, maybe it will take one day. But actually, all the rest of the city is it's typical Russian city with typical Russian transport, blocks of flats, magazines, atmosphere. And it's absolutely not Europe. It's just some, I don't know, pieces of Europe, which was there a very long time ago. I can't say that, for example, I would love to live there, despite it's in Europe. And before sanctions, people from Kaliningrad, they easily, because it was very close, they easily went to Poland, to Lithuania, to Germany, just by car or by buses. There were lots of buses going, just having one-day trip. It was quite popular and quite easy, but still, I didn't feel like it's something special to be there. Yeah, I felt just like in any else Russian city. The best things there were the nature, these parts. I mean, the Curonian Spit, but it organized terribly. Getting there is organized terribly. The Curonian Spit itself wonderful, and this is the best thing. Donskoye is wonderful, but all the rest things, I don't know, just okay. But these two places were great. So I think that's it. I'm afraid that there will be lots of photos of Kaliningrad. So if there are no place during the video, I can like show you after the video and some videos, you can watch them. I hope that you loved this story. I'm sorry if it wasn't really a similar style, because as I told you before, when I start telling something, I'm getting very inspired, and it's very difficult for me to speak like this slowly, and I can't even say it now. So like in this slow and quiet Asimo voice, I can't, because I'm fulfilled with emotions and I can't do this. So I try, I do my best, but I'm sorry. So I hope it was interesting for you still. And thank you for watching, and пока-пока.